about everything ID at Xbox. Joining me is the program director, Chris Charlotte. Chris, great to see you.
Yeah, how's it going?
How's everything?
Good to see you. Yeah,
you guys had a
great.
lot of games today.
Yeah, we showed more ID games on stage today than we ever have before. It was like more than 25. It was, wow. It was so fun.
I know.
Fun.
Phil said like 43 games. I was like, that's going to be a lot.
Yeah, it was 42 games, 22 with console exclusivity from all over the world. It was, I mean, it was just a game-filled briefing. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's so much stuff, and you had a lot of great announcements in there, and I'm sure we're going to get into some of these games. I think actually some of the developers are coming by too.
Oh, sweet.
But it's great to see what you've done with ID at Xbox. First thing that stuck out to me is Cuphead.
Yep.
A game that I've been very excited about. I remember a couple years ago when I brought Kanye West to E3, he was all about Cuphead.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, that's the game, and it's like, that was 2 years ago. And they finally announced a date.
We have a date.
I know.
September 29th. I can finally, I mean, this has been the great unanswered question. When's Cuphead coming out?
No, I was talking to the guys last week up there, and like, how we can't make it to E3 because we're so busy finishing up the game.
Yeah.
But it looks so great.
And they also showed off just some awesome new platforming gameplay, which I think you get an idea of like what they've actually been working on.
Oh, it's just like...
And this is just, I mean, it's amazing.
And I mean, there was not, I mean, it was a very short trailer, but they like to tease. Is it going to be playable at E3 at all?
It's not. No, they're just working on the game. And we talked to them. We're like, hey, can we get a build? And they're like, no.
That's why I said, you guys want to come on the show? They're like, no, we're busy, but Chris will handle it,
they're just working on the game, so which is great. And it's you pre-order it today and get it the 29th. It's going to be sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Let's talk about some of the other games that you guys had in the show. There were so many. I don't mean to only tell you about the ones I was interested in, but another one that looks incredible, which is Ashen ID at Xbox?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that looks incredible. I know the developers are going to be coming by a little bit later.
Oh, yeah.
That was just such an incredible trailer.
Yeah, and we teased that like a couple years ago, and then they went dark. And, you know, clearly they've been doing just amazing things since then. And, I mean, this is a game that's going to have some of that Dark Souls vibe, and just, I just think, like, I want to, you know, go to this world. Maybe not this exact part of the world, you know. But no, I mean, I think the world they've created is so compelling.
Oh, and it looks so stunning in the art style.
What they've done with the art style and just the animation. There's this one shot, I think it's going to come up in a minute, where you see just this, you know, monster over like a poor adventurer, and it's just like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing.
Looks incredible. No, I love it. Now, I wanted to ask you, when we, you know, saw all the games, sometimes it'll be like, you know, launch exclusive, console exclusive. When you guys work with developers, ID at Xbox, like, you know, if I'm a developer and I say, hey, I want to do a deal with Xbox, how does that typically work? Like, you guys, it's usually like, I'm sure it varies, but it's like, is it 3 or 6 months, or how does it approach? Like, when you say console, you know, launch exclusive, I mean, always wonder, like, they may come to other platforms after a window, or how
I mean, I think the thing to us, you know, obviously as a player, if the game's coming to Xbox exclusively, I'm excited. But, you know, the thing to us, and, you know, in every, you know, game is a different situation, but it's important that, like, we don't try and keep things away from platforms, right? Like, you know, something may come to Xbox first, and we're proud of that, and we own that. You know, and
inside, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And launch with Xbox, and then eventually.
Exactly. And so I think people get it, and I think Xbox players appreciate when a game is on Xbox first. But we're not trying to like keep a game away from someplace else. Like, we're not, you know, doing something to keep somebody, you know, game off another platform.
Because out of the stuff we saw today, some of them are sort of. There's nothing that's like permanently exclusive to Xbox, right? They're just Windows on most of the games?
Yeah, I think most of the games are just Windows on.
Right. Yeah, and obviously there's first-party games like an Ori or something like that, which is not ID at Xbox, but is more indie in spirit.
Yep.
Which is an
independent
Xbox
developer, but coming through Microsoft Studios.
Right, exactly. But no, as you said, ID. So I talked about a couple. I talked about Cuphead. About Ashen. What else for you? I mean, Tacoma, I know.
Tacoma is exciting because we announced a launch date for that. Again, pre-order today, and it's available on the 2nd of August. And then we showed Deep Rock Galactic, which was kind of a tease, but the game, I don't know how much you know about the game, but the game is awesome. So it's a 4-player PvE co-op experience where you play these like space dwarves, and you basically
I was like, is this like a new No Man's Sky kind of vibe? It's like, what? And it's like it had a really cool art style, like Walkies.
The game is awesome. So it's like 4 characters, each with a specialty, but you basically land on these planet surfaces, tunnel in, and then you're dwarves, so you go mining, right? Yeah. And then you have to get, you know, gold and resources out, and then you have to like get back out. Like, there's an extraction timer, and if you miss it, that's it. Right, but then meanwhile, once you're down there mining, of course, it's like filled with monsters, and so it's like a PvE combat miner. Like I don't know what the genre is, but it's incredibly fun. We've gotten to play this a couple times already, just early
PvE
builds.
combat miner.
Yeah.
New genre.
Yeah, it's a new genre, revealed today at E3. But it's just a super compelling, super fun game.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the game, and the name escapes me, but it's from Raw Fury.
Raw Fury is the publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, last night.
Last night, and that had such an interesting art style.
Yeah,
to
so
it. I haven't played it, but I want to hear more about that.
They've really combined pixel art with 3D in like a really amazing way. So there's some tracking shots where you see this beautiful water and like a beautiful camera angle shift, and then like up comes pixel art, and it's just
Here we go. Our team's
yeah.
good. It just I mentioned
These guys
it.
are awesome.
Here we go. Let's right in. All right.
But this game, I mean, it's just gorgeous, and the amount of like emotion that they're conveying. There's a couple shots where like a guy's got holding a gun on someone else. The amount of emotion that they're conveying with the pixel art is just unbelievable. And just doing pixel art combined with 3D in 4K in a totally new way, it's just super exciting.
Yeah, well, tell me a bit about this team. I don't know what's their history.
So it's a small team. I think it's 2 French brothers.
Really?
And who are getting started, and obviously the team will grow through production.
Right.
But just a really attractive, stylish game.
Well, that's what I like. Your job is, and you've been, in game development. You've done, everything in this industry. But the fact now that you get to find these little gems,
it's awesome.
And
we get the opportunity to, the ID at Xbox team, we have folks around the world, and we also get to travel around the world. And I actually made a tweet during the show, and I said, we had an ID at Xbox montage with 19 games in it, and I was kind of counting on my fingers, and I'm like, I think there's 10 countries represented in this ID montage.
So cool.
That's cool. So somebody immediately tweets back at me, and they're like, what about Romania? Yeah. And I'm like, I write back, I'm like, I don't think Romania is in the briefing
Not this year.
But like, hey, why don't you write a Romanian game? Like 2 seconds later, get a tweet from the guys, doing Brawl saying like, we're from Romania. So like, okay,
you got a game.
11 countries.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's what's great is I think these smaller games and the fact that you can show them on stage there with all the other big, blockbuster,
yeah, absolutely.
$50 million games. You've got these smaller games people really love.
Yeah, and I loved it that this, in previous years we've done an ID at Xbox segment, which always, kind of real fun, and we have all the ID games together. And this year we looked at like what we were bringing between, Black Desert and Deep Rock and Ashen and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and everything else. And we're like, these
they hold up on their
we
own.
can't just put these all together. I mean, we could, but like it would be crazy. Like these should just be throughout the briefing, and it was just really neat to see them throughout the briefing and standing on their own and totally people were stoked.
Absolutely. No, it was a incredible batch of inspiring games from the smaller developers out there, and of course they'll all I guess be playable on One X. They'll all be on One X obviously, and then also on S.
Yeah. Every game that comes out for Xbox is playable on Xbox One S as well. It's going to be weird to say this publicly, as well as Xbox One X.
Yes.
Not say a code name.
Yes.
They're all playable. And I think of the 28 games that we showed today, I think 26 will be enhanced for Xbox One X.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, basically every game that's coming out, later than release, and even some that are coming out prior to Xbox One X release are going to be enhanced for Xbox One X with 4K and everything else.
Cuphead in 4K.
Cuphead is
one of the two. Is not those guys have enough.
Let's let those guys ship. They're shipping before Xbox One X. Let's just let that happen.
No, you're right. It's such cool art style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Own thing. Let them do their thing. But yeah, I can't wait for that one. Well, it's so cool to see the support you've given to the independent game development community, and for a lot of these guys, I know that from Game Awards, for to allow these guys to be on a big stage, and 2 brothers who are making a game to be right up there with Assassin's Creed and Anthem.
But you know what? Like that's great to say, and obviously we're super proud to do it. And you saw Phil talking today about how important it is for us to support these games. But I can tell you, when we're at our E3 reviews, like
they hold up.
We just look at the games, right? And so these games are all on stage and all being featured as part of E3 with Xbox, because they're awesome games.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, you look at some of those, like one night, it's like, who knows who makes that? It's just great content.
No, exactly.
And it's just like it's really holds up and it grabs you, and that's what's cool about it. And yeah, it's so nice to see that you guys can support those guys across so many platforms now, get that stuff out there, and I'm sure you're going to get only more pitches this week.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome. All right. Well, Chris, great to see you.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
We will see some stuff, and some stuff will be playable over at the booth this week, right? All right, lots of good indie titles, and yeah, I'm sure Tacoma, that'll be coming out. What is that? This
August 2nd.
August, summer, I was going to say.
Yep.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you very much,
Thanks
Chris.
a lot.
Now we're going to head